only when the grain is sown ashore disintegrates, die, and it is not more grain, appears the new plant and the harvest. The seed must be buried in ground prepared for it. We no longer have it in the cellar, in the hands. You lose its sacrifices if we want new plant and harvest. Dies and disappears the seed on earth as a test, the new plant birthed out of earth, and shows the single skin of what was the seed. It is dead, no longer exists. The sacrifice of the seed is prerequisite to birth a new life plant. If we keep the seed in the tank, we don't have to harvest. Although the seed contains its own life, only by its sacrifice and loss of its life a new life appears. It is no longer a seed, is new plant, is new life. The seed doesn't end at death, is reborn in new life, plant and process, great and mysterious at the same time, and dies in order to resurrect or sprout in new life. Cannot coexist two lives in the same being. The old life must give way to new life, as in the syringe air leaves space to medicine. If not, it bears fruit in new plant, like the seed not mated, rot on earth. Is the heaven incomprehensible and admirable of her nature, dark as walking by a tunnel, mirror of what happens in love. The offering of love must be sacrificed to be true love, sacrificed for the sake of the beloved, to become a new life into the beloved. Is the mystery of love the realization of itself in love? The value sacrificial offering, similar to a grain of seed, made by the immolation, seed that dies planted on earth, is essential to love as the decomposition of the seed for the new plant. There can be no true love without offering a sacrifice by the beloved lover. In the love, the lover is without Caesar to find is insensately in the beloved. Only in the love coexist the unity and the duality, precise that love is both one and two. Here the contradictions of life melt and lose, said Tagore. Here is written the drama of the death, and the life where is lost for win, because in the death of the lover is rose the life of the beloved. Your death, seed, is my life, said the plant. Gains and losses are balanced in love. This happens entails suffering and death, denial of yes saying, as in the pains in childbirth, then home to a new life. Involved the such of find is in new life in the beloved. For a mother is find is in the son, the fruit of their bowels. For the man or woman is sacrificed, losing himself, sacrificed to meet in a new life, the life of a couple. In this love, the I and you disappear to make room for the us. It is the fruit and the mystery of love, becoming one with the beloved, become one flesh, testifies the Holy Book. This way, because love comes from God, is God Himself, confirms the Apostle John, and what is at stake in this way, love is the life of God, one through Jesus Christ immolated. True love is unique, is the life of God in Jesus Christ, and through Jesus Christ, who loves us here is who leaves no sacrifice as He did and sent Him, does not die for love, doesn't sacrifice it and suffers for love, not love, loves himself, doesn't accept, has not made it seed roots on the ground. Here love is maximum happiness that you can reach the man on the earth. Love this way is to live the same life of God. Only God satisfies the human heart, only to the extent that we immolamos us for love, birth and participate in the life of Christ, which is the life of God. Because only God satisfies the human heart, when we love in this way, we feel a deep satisfaction in ourselves. It is to feel and enjoy the life of God. If you do not love in this way, you will only have lies, disappointments. You live on the surface of life, in the noise of things. This man sings all his songs. Therefore, true love has no explanation, is mystery, is the life of God. Gift, and gift that only feels, only life, we don't understand, cannot be explained. It is the maximum pleasure that a man can give to another human being, the maximum satisfaction and content. Communicate the life of God, possessing in the heart, is the same happiness. It is concluded that to truly love, it is necessary to believe in Jesus Christ, accept and adhere to Jesus Christ, immolated and risen Christ, who brought us, taught us, and commanded through love. God in Jesus Christ not loved first, but how to believe in who has not heard about? And how do they hear to talk about it if he is not preached it, if not to speak of it? This is our responsibility, to announce it. The same is not having met Jesus that doesn't know him, says the Pope Francisco. It's the same walk with him walking to fumble around. It's not the same to try to understand and build the world with his gospel that do it only with the reason. Love as I have loved you. It is his teaching, it is its mandate. We know very well that Jesus Christ, it is much easier to find a deep meaning to all, light for life, including the liberation of suffering and death, become the highest goal of self-immolation to get a new life, resurrection, the new creation of God, to participate in the life of God, only applicable we freely accept, give life a suffering, leaving victims immolation on the other as he did, taught, and commanded. When the suffering and death that we suffer every day and always, in all circumstances, according to the judgment of the Apostle, we turn them into our hearts in self-immolation and sacrifice for the beloved. In love, this leads to the release of the same death and sin, deep longings of the human heart. It is the joy of love truly. Then there is mysticism and contemplation in the sufferings and death when it is accepted that the universe develops in God, that it filled everything. There is nothing, absolutely nothing, outside of God. This is release. The release is a self-expression of the own secretness and an attempt to decipher from around the world. He is singing the anthem of the existence and live enjoying God's care. It is to life in hope. Look the suffering and the death with the look is be see truthful. Is filled is and life in hope that carry in it intimate of our heart, although is unconsciously by action of the Spirit in it deep from our hearts. For the non-believer, these events, tragedies and death are full of darkness, is a slave of them. Of here was born the joy ordinary of life, the peace inside that exists all well, not fear the death or the suffering, or the poverty before want them. This is living according to the sentence of the Apostle, be always glad, do it repeat, always cheerful. By this love, immolate is by the other, is the destination of the life human and of all the creation in head of the man, destination dark for so many people in the world, is the challenge more large than always has had the humanity, to love life and dies. It suffers and dies to make love. I am not so that you are, I have so that you can have, I die so that you live. The greatness of this universal immolation depends on and it is made fertile for our freedom and acceptance. Mother of the heart, do it knowingly, deliberately, facts already made and sent by Jesus Christ for all his followers. on an altar of stone or other material in any church celebrates the Eucharist. On this altar of matter that identifies the altar of the world, there all it created it is higher elevation, our lives and our death. On a piece of matter binds the heaven and earth, embraces and penetrates all creation. Here the word that came out of hands of God for love returns to it in happy and full worship of love for his self-immolation together with the Son of God.